Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the cutting of this waistcoat that you saw at the beginning of the video. If you're interested in this, just keep on watching. So here, I've already measured out my vertical measurements. Here, this is the shoulder line, this is the chest line, this is the bust line, this is the under bust line, this is the waistline, and then this is the full length of the. So here I'm going to insert my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2, which is 7.5 inch. So I'm going to insert it here, 7.5 inch. Then I will come down by half of an inch for the shoulder slope. I came down here by by half an inch. Sorry. And I now went ahead to measure out my neckline. I didn't realize that my camera wasn't showing that part, so I measured out 3.5 inch. Then I just came down by 3.5 inch as well. I used my curve rule to connect the both dots from my neckline. Here I also brought my straight rule to connect the shoulder slope to the neckline. So from the half inch shoulder slope, I came down to my chest line, as you can see. Then I now measured out the 7.5 inch of my shoulder, to be able to trace it out properly, so that my lines won't be curved or not straight. So this is it. So here I'm going to measure out my armhole depth, which is 7.5 inch, and divide it into 2 to get the midpoint. So the midpoint is 3.5 and 2 lines, which is 7.5 divided by 2, which is 3.5 and 2 lines. So I'm just going to insert my midpoint here, as you can see. Then I'm going to come out by half an inch, as you can see that I'm indicating here. I came out by half of an inch. I came in by half of an inch, sorry. So I used my curve rule to connect the 3 dots, as you can see. But before I connected the dots, I measured out my bust circumference here, which is 9 inches. My bust circumference is 36. The 6 inches divided by 4, which is 9. So I then now use my curve rule to connect the 3 dots together to give me that armhole curve. So guys, here I came in by 3.5 inches for my nipple to nipple measurement. I came down. This is the first bust line, then the under bust line. Then I also traced it out in my waistline and in my hip line. So that is where we are going to take our that measurements, that intake. This is the line that we are going to use to take our that intakes, as you can see. So here I just use my straight ruler to connect all the dots together. So guys, for my dart intake, I'm going to be placing 1 inch on the left hand side and 1 inch on the other side. You can also make it like half inch on the left hand side and 1.5 inch on the right hand side, but I prefer to use 1 inch on the right hand side, 1 inch on the left hand side, to be on the safer side for my bust size. But if for like a bigger size, you can use the other measurements that I said. So here I came down by half of an inch. So then I'm now going to connect my under bust to a line from that line to the point that I made. As you can see, connected the dots. If you don't understand what I said, just look at the video and you see what I'm doing. So you just connect it. Here guys, I'm going to, from this point here, I'm going to connect it to the midpoint of the armhole. As you can see, I'm going to use my French curve to the armhole down to my bust line. As you can see what I'm doing here, I'm connecting it to the bust line, just trying to find the perfect curve so that I'll be able to connect it. So as you can see, I connected it to that midpoint. Then I came down by 1 inch for my dart intake. As you know, this is a princess dart waistcoat, so I came down by 1 inch, and I now use my curve glue to connect the dots to the bust line. So guys, I now came out at that armhole by 1 inch. As you can see, I inserted 1 inch so that the side front will not be short. It won't be short when joining it with the center piece. So I added 1 inch also at the chest line. As you can see what I did over there, I added it to the chest line. Then I now use my curve rule to connect it together. So I use my straight ruler to connect from the waistline to the full length of the garment. You know, the darts, I brought it down to the full length of the garment. This is how it's supposed to be. Then I started inserting my measurements from the bust line. I measured 9 inches. As you remember, my bust line is 9. My bust circumference is 36 divided by 4, which is 9. I added 1.5 inch allowance. So as you can see, I added 1.5 inch allowance. Then I came down by the under bust line. Just inserted my under bust measurement, which was 8.5. Then I now added my dart intake, I added it to it, which is 10.5. Then I added my 1.5 seam allowance, and I now came down to the waistline. My waistline is 28 divided by 2, which is 7 inches. I added my dart intake, which is 2 inches there, and I also added my seam allowance, which is 1.5 inch, or in total it was 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1.5, which is 11.5 inch. Then I didn't connect it. I did not insert my waistline to this place. This is the full length, so I wanted to give it that V-shaped design. So I just inserted 9 inches and just I just left it like that. So here, as you can see, I use my rule to connect it. So here, this is the curve I was talking about. I wanted to give it. As you can see, I just connect from that full length to. So here, I didn't realize that I did not insert my zip allowance. So I just added extra brown paper to the front. So I just added it. So here, as you can see, I'm going to add my zip allowance. I left the zip allowance first. I just went ahead to insert my neckline. So the original neckline that we did wasn't the neckline that I wanted for this waistcoat. So I had to just insert the one that I wanted. So I came down by 8 inches, and I now used my curve drill. The neck width is 3.5, but the neck length is 8 inches. So it was just the same with my chest line. So I connected it to my chest line. So after that, I now inserted the zip allowance. So I came out for the zip allowance by 1 inch. As you can see, I came out by 1 inch. Then I also inserted the 1 inch on the waistline. As you can see, so I now use my straight rule to connect the 2 dots. I also extended the line to the full length of the top, but it wasn't necessary because the zip allowance is supposed to stop at the waistline. So it was just for clarity's sake that I just made it there. And I now connected my waistline as well. Then at this waistline, I came out by half of an inch. I came in by half of an inch, sorry. As you can see, it's just the reason for this is just to avoid gaping, to make the zip to just sit perfectly, not looking awkward. So here I just cancelled the lines that wasn't in use in this pattern drafting. As you can see, this line we are no longer going to use it, as well as this line for that zip allowance. So that's it. So here for the back piece, as you can see, I've already measured out my shoulder measurements, the vertical measurements, my shoulder measurements, my chest line, my bust line, my waistline, and my full length. So the under bust line is not in use in this part. So here for the shoulder line, I'm going to insert my shoulder measurements just as we did for the front. Here it's 7.5 inches, as you can see. And I also went ahead to insert my neckline, which is 3.5 inch. Then I now came down by 1 inch for the neck depth. Then I came down by half of an inch for my shoulder slope, just as we did for the front part. Then after that, we came down. I now use my curve rule to connect my neck width and my neck depth. So here I measured out my shoulder line, which is 7.5 inch. So I connected it down to the half inch of the shoulder slope, as you can see. And now I measured it, I inserted it together. So here I measured out my bust line, which is 9 inches. And now use my curve rule to connect it. So as you can see here, we did not add any armhole midpoint or anything. We just curved this because this is the back pattern. So here I inserted my nipple measurement. Some know it as a bust span, so I just use my curve rule to connect it. So as you can see, then at the waistline, I came up by half an inch on the left hand side, half an inch on the right hand side. I now connected it to the chest line, as you can see from the video. Then I just measured my bust circumference and then added my 1.5 inch seam allowance. I also added it here. Then my waist circumference, which is 7 inches, and I added my 1 inch that intake. I inserted it here, and I also added my 1.5 inch seam allowance. So, but here in this video, I wasn't supposed to add the full length because it wasn't of any use. My waistcoat stopped at my waist, as the name implies, my waistcoat. So that measurement wasn't necessary. So please, sorry for the mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors to cut it out. So guys, I'm done cutting it out. So I'm going to go ahead to label them. This is the center front, this is the side front, and this is the back. So guys, I went ahead to cut it on my main fabric and my line, and I also cut out my lining. So if you found this video helpful, like, share, also subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.